careful. If it's windy, be careful.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning, Vanessa. All right, we've had a lovely morning.
Awesome.
Where my computer shit the bed. So luckily I took good notes in prepping for this meeting. So it's going to be a lot of song and dance, no pressure. Let's start out with some save the dates for Adopt a Highway. March
25th.
And it's a big old thing because Caltrans.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
I'll do whatever I want, right? Our Adopt a Highway this time on March 25th is going to be part of a statewide Caltrans Community Days, Spring into Action. So at 9 a.m. at the Nature Center, meet out there and you'll be part of this big event. And then later under the bridge, there'll be a big Clean California Festival on the Eureka side at the foot of the Samoa Bridge, you know, where all the beautiful murals are. Music, food, celebrating, doing good work at keeping California clean. So March 25th, Nature Center, 9 a.m. See you there.
There's a golf tournament, but we'll talk about that later. Just waiting for the last. So let's slowly go around to welcome back some unfamiliar faces.
Yeah.
Listen, see ya.
We'll hear from him shortly. Steve? All right, this back table of.
Over that guy over there, that big tall guy over there.
Chart member,
No, I'm sorry, please introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Sorry, Paige, and I'm from the Fortuna Sunrise Rotary Club.
And she has some good news for Chris and Lisa. But shortly.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Aaron, I'm changed it for this club.
Okay. So I'm Tim Woodward. I'm out of the Mad River Club in McKinleyville, and this is Amanda Guerrero. So she is our youth exchange student. So she is my host daughter, or my daughter from Chile, and so she's here today to do a little fundraising. So she is doing ceramics up at Mac High and to help fund her trips, and so she's intending to go on the Western Safari at the end of the season, and then if she's able to fundraise enough, then she's going to possibly go on the New York trip. So she has created some ceramics that she will tell you about. So it's a set of dinnerware that we're going to raffle off, and we happen to have raffle tickets with us, and so. And then after Amanda introduces herself and tells you a little bit about her dinnerware, and just so you're aware, this is an example. The bowls are actually part of the set, and the others are just examples of stuff she's doing. But so she's working on the set right now, and I'll let her explain that. But when she's done, then please engage her and ask her some questions about her experience or about Chile. And so, Amanda, please.
Hi, my name is Amanda Guerrero. I'm an exchange student from Chile. Like Tim says, I'm doing ceramics for a couple weeks. I'm working in this set. It's 2 serving bowls, and the color will be something similar to these. And I'm trying to making some fundraise for the Western Safari trip, which is in this district. And I'm going to McKinleyville High and with Mad River Rotary Club. And I'm kind of excited for this. I'm not going to say that I'm not nervous for talking about in front of you guys. And thank you so much for having me here. It's really exciting to be able to make a raffle of my sets. It's exciting, and yeah, something like that. I'm making these 2 bowls, serving bowls, and for salad soup will be kind of more small than this one. And the plates, I'm trying to make them more tall and more bigger. So yeah, it's probably something like that, pretty much.
Is there, like, how many people are you gonna serve? 4 people?
4 people,
Four?
yeah.
Okay, so 2 serving bowls, 4 plates,
And
4 salad
that's
bowls.
true, yeah.
And then how much are tickets going for?
25 just for 1 piece and
And 5 for
100,
100,
yeah.
or 10 for 200. So yes, so $25 a piece. So we have raffle tickets here with us today, with the nice subtle images of her ceramics, embedded in there, just so this is becoming, a piece that you want to keep as a keepsake.
How many tickets?
So anyway, so $25 a piece, or 5 for 100.
How many tickets
Total.
total?
Oh, 300. Well, we've made 300. I don't know how many we'll sell. Okay, so we're hoping that we can sell 200. But I have made up to 300.
When does the raffle happen?
We have set a date of March 30th for the raffle. She, hopefully will be done. The drawing we have scheduled for the 30th, which is Thursday, so we'll do that at our club in McKinleyville. And the delivery of the dinnerware, again, 4-piece dinnerware with two serving bowls, will be when she's complete. So she may or may not be complete with the full set by March 30th. Part of that is sort of at the mercy of when her teacher can run, fire and she gets the glaze and fires them again. So, but yes, the drawing is March 30th. So yes, and if you
And
want to buy
can we
tickets.
contact you directly if we're not ready today?
Yes, you can do that, and if you are able today, and if you want to write a check or cash check, should make it out to Mad River Rotary, please. And I will, make sure Pat has my contact info. I'll make sure Vanessa has my contact info, and we can go from there as well. And go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask Amanda, are you doing these in your school
Yeah, in the
ceramics
school,
class?
yeah.
Excellent.
So anyway, so
Plates are hard.
open up for questions. Some questions for
Where's
Amanda?
Claire? Yeah.
Really beautiful. Yeah, they are.
So she grew up just outside of Santiago, in not a little town, but a small town, or a town called what? Peñaflor. So just in that greater Santiago region. So it's summertime down there now, obviously. They're having a lot, not where she's at, but lots of wildfires, which we're used to up here in our summertime as well. But a lot of wildfires going on in Chile right now, in the north and the south.
Amanda, have you done ceramics before this class? Or?
No, this is my first.
What?
Wow.
And she's doing plates? Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay. Yes.
So how do you want to, if people do want to buy any today, how do we do that?
Contact him directly or give money to me and I'll give it to him.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, Dustin. Welcome the 2 interactors, I imagine.
Hi, I'm here. I'm Chloe.
That's a new one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi. Sorry, guys. Let's hear from Marty about the fire truck.
Thank you, President. So to recap, the fire truck that we're talking about has been made and put together in West Virginia, and it's going to Jamaica, Mexico. It's being purchased by the Morgan Hill Rotary Club, the Tlacopaki Industrial, which is just inside of Guadalajara. It's a borough there. And Rico Salvador of the District 51, our District 5130 World Community Guide. So it was purchased there, and it needed transportation costs for both the equipment and the truck to get to Mexico. At the Mexican border, it'll be picked up by the Jamaica Mexican Club, Rotary Club, that's going to take it in and pay for that transport. So our club, our World Community Service, decided, well, okay, we'll put in there was 4 pilots that put in $100. I put a challenge out. So we had Howard, Tom Tejas, Charlie Jordan, Ashley Deal, and me. Is that five?
Yes.
That's five. And then I asked the club to match us with $500, and the club made a special election for, thank you Vanessa and Sophie for getting a special election going. And this week they approved it. I got the money was sent out. The truck is on the way. They're moving two vehicles, moving an ambulance to one part of Mexico, and they're moving the fire truck down to Jamaica. So I really appreciate the help and the support we got from the board. And Sophie's been awesome. The contact that I'm working with from Baja Bridges, which is a Rotary Club nonprofit. Several clubs formed a nonprofit to help move emergency response vehicles into Mexico and have them fitted so they can be repaired in Mexico. Because you get it down there and you can't repair it or work on it, it kind of just sits there. The lady that I was talking with was on a plane in Chicago. She was just texting me. She's on her way to Turkey to help with the earthquake relief. So it's been a kind of confusing communications thing, but it's working. Thank you.
We also have, pictures would be great, but maybe that'll be next week. The Cambodia Academy has added a second story to their cafeteria, and it's trucking right along. It looks really stable, like. And they'll be on track to Our concern was that our collective club's contribution, our district matching grant, is for furniture and fixtures, but they have to build the place first. And so it looks like now they're picking up speed. They're out of the wet season. It's a good thing. Second story's up. Roof is coming shortly. We'll have benches in there and ovens and everything. So our part is good. Then we want to celebrate, well, Chris.
Oh, this Sunday? This Sunday. We got a long list of names. A lot of people are coming. It's gonna be a
Thank
great
you,
event.
the 42 people that signed up.
I think we're a little higher.
We're at 44 and we're actually at 45 and a baby.
All right, even better.
So it'll be a great event, and if you might be able to squeeze you in if you still have some last minute changes in your plans. Contact that young lady if you would. But plan on being there. It should be a lot of fun. We have a little bit of music and a little bit of someone's playing the piano. It's going to be a nice event. So remember to come.
What's the dress code?
It's going to be classy.
So don't wear my red Adidas tracksuit with my gold chains.
That's classy. That's classy. It's on fire.
If you put a hat on,
Put a hat on.
So, just kind of dress up a little bit, what we're thinking, so whatever's comfortable for you in that respect, we're not going to lean too heavy. Some people are going to wear some hats or something.
Yeah, we were saying hat. If he puts a hat on that, I think he'll be okay.
It's not going to couch. It's a tea party type of theme, but anyway, it should be a lot of fun. Good time to socialize and hang out with some of your Rotarian friends on a more social basis. So, looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday.
and then Paige, could you join Chris up here? I don't see Lisa, so
No, she's not here. She's take care of it. Okay. What am I doing here?
Miss Madam?
All right. Well, as you guys all know, I did a Super Bowl board, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something. And a lot of you guys helped and supported me. And so we actually had a winner, which was Lisa.
Oh, good.
And she got $75. So basically, yeah, so just thank you all for supporting me. I think out of a total of all, I did 2 boards, I made about $2,000 from it all. And then, so now I'm about halfway to my goal, so I've so far $5,000 saved up for my study abroad. Woohoo! So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
I have to give her something. I'm not going to tell her what
Hey,
how
Chris,
much she made.
get a camera.
She she's not watching. We do have 2 tickets we need to buy over here.
Oh, excellent.
Need glasses.
Great, we have, okay. Bob Judavine sent me a really cute picture.
Oh, that's A-okay, it was stupid. So, I told Brian Plumley that I would make a quick announcement and pass around the clipboard. One of my favorite things in Rotary, well, one of a number of things, is once a year when the club awards scholarships, we have to first call through all the applicants for scholarships, and it's the coolest thing in the world. If you have any doubts about the future of America, just getting to read some of the stuff that young people think and worry about and are interested in and engaged in, reading scholarship applications is really wonderful. So we have 2 slots open. If you see your name on here already, I'm not volunteering you. Brian thought that you were likely to be a part of the committee. So there's 2 slots, and it's coming around. Just watch for the clipboard. Thanks.
When will that be?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. So it's a little on the big side. It's 2 or 3 hour sessions in early April. So we're out quite a ways. I just figured if I asked earlier, I was likelier to get commitment. So yeah, it's coming around.
So, also not pictured, Ian sent me a picture of Bob Johnson
Really?
and the 78s.
Oh, the 78s, yeah.
Should we wait for a picture or?
Yeah. I can show it to you on my phone.
Wait, can I do that too?
No.
Yeah, Sue got it all going on the Instagram or whatever, so yeah, we barely know 5 songs and she's already promoting the band. So it's my wife. 78s comes from the year that we graduated from high school, and we were 3 classmates in the stage band and so forth, and so we have a little trio thing. We've done a couple of background jazz kind of things for a couple of events, and now we're kind of branching off into other music, so we would have more appeal.
You think that's going to do it?
Will you be there on Sunday?
Yeah, I will.
But the 78s are
Yeah,
not
no.
performing. Next year.
Yeah, next year.
I don't want to work during a party.
Tell me about it.
Nice one. Next year.
Preach it to the choir.
Scott.
Hello.
Go up there. Are you going to be here Sunday?
What?
No, he's flying out in the morning.
You've been hammering on me. I'm flying out again tomorrow morning. Hello, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I was present here quite a while ago. But one of the things that I love doing is Friday auction, and that's coming up. For me, my auction month is May. And Terry always puts me at the end of the Rotary year to see if we can't do something kind of big to get the end of the year donation bumped up. So, in that vein, we are offering our home to preferably $10 2 people. I'm sorry, our home is in Hawaii, by the way. I also don't know. That was an important part of this. But for the end of the month auction in May, and the reason we're doing it, offering it now, to let you know, is that you can plan to be here on that day and bid on the auction. So it's a week at our home. It could be, there's 2 bedrooms, king bedroom and a queen bedroom. It can be 4 people, and or 2 people, or 1 person, doesn't matter, whoever wants to come. We will be there, and we will host you for a week. You get free room and board. We'll provide all the food and cook and all that for you. All you gotta do is get there, and maybe get a car if you want to tour the island. It's on Maui, and there'll be pictures at some point of the house. So just start thinking about it now, and come in May, and you can bid. Thanks.
Real quickly, I got this scholarship sign-up form here. Has everybody had a chance? Start with you, Bob?
Do you have the 2 you needed?
I totally do.
Awesome. I Community Service had a meeting yesterday. Do you have any updates?
Let's see. I think the big one was the Adopt a Highway, working on mini libraries at Hobbs. So graciously gonna review some of the mini library plans to figure out which ones are gonna be like easier to make parts for and then create an assembly day. I don't think there's anything else.
I did have a slide for the Adopt a Highway. That's the big, that Carol already did it. Okay. Any update on the wall?
In true city style, I've talked to the city and I'm now waiting on more bureaucratic process to connect me up with the next people that I need to talk to so that we can get approval to put some kind of lattice work up there. So I'm waiting, but it's in the process.
And you also need some applicants for the police department.
Yeah, I'm back on patrol because we have no cops in Arcata, so if anyone wants to be a police officer, we're hiring.
So on March 9th, we've teamed up, Vocational has teamed up with Jim Ritter with CR. They're going to send 8 students out. We partnered with the Arcata Chamber to support this program with Jim. And they're also, so they're taking 8 students for like 16 weeks, and it's like job shadowing, job location, things like that. And we're going to supply, information. But they're having a meeting on March 9th from 10 to 11 at CR, and we can send 2 people to this meeting to get information. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend, so if anybody can make it to CR to be, to listen to part of this process, it would be absolutely wonderful. So I
that's a Thursday, March 9th?
That'd be a Thursday, yeah, from, I think it's like 10 to 11, I'm pretty sure. So if anybody has that availability, it would be a huge help. So, thank you.
The polio update, 21 weeks and counting of no wild cases. That's huge.
Vanessa,
Please.
talk about the garden?
I did not.
Oh, okay, so Jardín Santuario or the Sanctuary Garden, our club is helping to do some security there because it's been a victim of vandalism. But we donated funds, thank you to Ian and to AJ and the other folks who were on that committee making that happen. Donated some funds so that they could put up a camera, and we're going to, I think, be mounting that camera at 10 tomorrow. There's always volunteer hours from 10 to noon on Saturdays at the garden, and it's actually really sweet. The head of Centro del Pueblo, Brenda, and her husband, Willie, are moving into the house that looks right down on the garden, and so I think that's going to take care of a lot, because they used to, someone's there, and then they'd get in their car and drive here, and then they could just open the window and say, hello, what's going on there? And so then the other thing is, we've sort of gone back and forth about signs that say, this is being surveyed, surveillance in process right here, which makes a number of the members of the community that are there gardening not feel very comfortable. And so we're thinking about how to say really wonderful things about the garden and make signs that say those things. And then at the bottom, and by the way, to keep those beautiful plants in this beautiful community safe. There is a camera, but make it so that's not the big message. So if anyone has any ideas of things that would be nice to say, we're not spending that much on the camera, it turns out. That was less than we thought, so then we can make some really beautiful signs with the rest of the money that we donated for the garden. So if you've got ideas of lovely, inclusive, welcoming verbiage, let me know.
It also says, don't mess with our garden.
Yes, it also says.
We see you.
It's a game camera, right?
It's a game camera, yeah.
So just put the message out that you're monitoring the wildlife.
I like it. That's what we do. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Oh. All right, it's time for you. Come on, Jen. All right, I'm really pleased that our speaker today is Jen Rice, and I imagine many of you know Jen for her many roles she has played in our community, from leading the way up at Humboldt Area Foundation. What was your title at Humboldt Area Foundation?
Director of Community Strategies.
Community Strategies. I've known Jen for a long time and have really admired her, and I'm really pleased to be working with her in her role as a consultant. She has a consulting company, and working with her on the Great Redwood Trail. I know she's mentored so many folks in the community, and now, today, she's here to talk about the Emergency Response Network, and I don't quite have the acronym down, so I'm going to let Jen do the introductions and explain what role she's here today to share with us. So, welcome, Jen.
So good to see everybody. Thanks for having me back to the Cool Club. It's been a long time.
Always welcome. Would you like to join?
I feel like maybe the first time I came here was to try to convince everybody that a regional trail system was possible. So like, si se puede, right? So I'm here to talk about the COAD today, the Community Organizations Active in Disaster. And some of you may be familiar with the term VOAD, Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. I'm going to try to operate without the slide deck I threw together in the middle of the night last night. Maggie is very, I'm sorry? Oh, you can look at it, that's okay. Maggie is very aware of everything I'm going to tell you right now, so if you have any questions we don't get to today, Maggie knows. So I got involved with the COAD actually by starting it when I was at Humboldt Area Foundation, and all the fires and the pandemic were happening. We reorganized the foundation in a week to be fully disaster response focused in the shutdown week. And then we spent 18 months doing that because fires, pandemic. And so we quickly learned that we were starting to take the place of what should have been in place, COAD, or a system to connect the emergency response network with community organizations that, what I realized in this process, do the lion's share of taking care of the people in disasters. And so where government is supposed to save lives, we're focusing on how do we get people under roofs, how do we get them fed, how do we, take care of their needs, how do we keep them safe, keep them well. And so you may not know that the earthquakes that epicentered in Rio Dell did a tremendous amount of destruction. It's no joke to have a disaster during the holidays because nobody was around. Every organization, every agency was closed. And so normally as a COAD, we wouldn't have been deploying on site, but nobody was around. So, the network that is the COAD, whoever could show up, showed up. Maggie was like number one there and has been there since the beginning. But the system of the COAD is that, for any of you leadership geeks, familiar with the Cuneiform framework of leadership. It's like there's different types of leadership situations you need to prepare for, and one of them is chaos. And disaster is chaos, right? So the way you prepare for that is you prepare. What we've been doing in 2022 is bringing together 50 different organizations, and now it's probably going to get closer to 100, who play some role in a disaster. And when a disaster hits, I'm learning there's a whole disaster industry now, right? Because there's a lot of disasters these days. And so what they say is every disaster is local. So when it hit Rio Dell, the Chamber of Commerce became a key player in that disaster response. The Community Resource Center, key player. Of course, the Fire Protection District, number one, key player. But when it hits here, it'll be, you know, these organizations here that are the lead in that response effort. So the COAD is new. And so last year we just started pulling this network together, and you can't pull a network together by saying, here's the manual. You gotta convene everybody and have them meet each other and figure out who can do what and get to know, put their cell numbers in your phone so that when the you know what hits the fan, you know who to call for what. And so there are 14 working groups of the COAD. About half of those have been, you know, starting to form. Some of them are well formed. One of them, for instance, is focused on households that have access and functional needs. So folks who are homebound, disabled, otherwise, you know, the folks who are probably going to hear about and get help last in a disaster. There's another working group that's focused on preparedness and training, one that's focused on, that hasn't really formed yet, that's focused on identifying materials and supplies that are needed in a disaster site and then securing them and getting them to the site. There are lots of them. Imagine my slide up here. I'm not going to list them all, but you know, so we had groups who were ready, especially food access. Luckily, I don't know if any of you know Nick Brown Crawford from Humboldt COAD, who moved back here recently after growing up here. He, during the pandemic, organized the Atlanta restaurant industry to provide 3.5 million meals. And so when this happened, I don't know if any of you are familiar with World Central Kitchen, who's been feeding people in Ukraine and now in Turkey. I have a picture up here of the gal who is running the operation in Turkey. She was here in Rio Dell feeding folks on day 2. And so Humboldt COAD was getting them connected with local restaurants and chefs every day. We fed over 40,000 meals, not just in Rio Dell, but then when the storms hit, Nick started going to Trinidad and Oric and taking meals all over the place. Because, as you know, there were power outages for a few weeks on top of folks who had no chimney and their home had fallen off the foundations in Rio Dell. And so then when those 70 to 80 mile an hour winds hit, it was just chaos on top of chaos, right? So, you know, back to the folks in Rio Dell, another area that we've been focused on is the level of trauma experienced in Rio Dell right now is palpable. DHHS came to the Emergency Operations Center last week with their eyes like this, like, oh, now we understand what you guys have been telling us. People in Rio Dell are traumatized. They lived through, where here it was kind of fun, right? There it was horrifying. People told me about their wood stoves getting thrown across the house, their toilets sticking 4 feet in the air because their house fell off the foundation. All their plumbing and their gas lines are broke. Every single thing in their house is broke. They talk about it broke, half of it broke in the first earthquake and the other half broke in the aftershock, in the big aftershock. So, you know, trying to be there for our neighbors, really, for me, is what the COAD is about. It's about coming for your people when the chips are down. It's calling our community services district to be like, how are you guys up there? Out of power for 3 weeks. It's knowing who to call in Petrolia to say, how are you guys doing? It's knowing who to call in Rio Dell and go, oh wow, all the responders went to all the communities around you because you were in a communications blackout. Okay, we'll be right there. So, you know, I think of some big values that we have in Humboldt County are independence and community. And there's nothing to make you less dependent than not being ready for any kind of disaster. And your community's there for you, especially if we're organized to be able to do it. So, you know, some of the ways that the COAD works is as a conduit. So I found out this whole disaster industry, when they find out there's a COAD or a VOAD in your area, they just start sending people your way. You need 4 semis full of water. Islamic Relief will be there tomorrow with 4 semis. You need a truck full of milk. The milk board is sending it tomorrow. You need a trailer full of blankets and all kinds of supplies. Pay It Forward Humboldt has it stored for fires, and they've got the Lions coming over with a trailer tomorrow. I mean, folks are there for you, when they know there's a system to organize it through, and when they know that there are people who know who on the ground to call. So, you know, as the COAD, we know the Community Resource Center is where to send all that stuff. And I knew to call one of my new favorite folks. I mean, I've known him forever, but Nick Angeloff at the Chamber in Rio Dell. Talk about a guy who can make anything happen. Nick, we need a spot for all these supplies. We got to move them out of the middle school. He came up with a spot. All those supplies are there for people to go get them, you know, because they have nothing left in their homes. So, you know, I could talk all morning about this, but I'll kind of wind down and see if you have questions and say that there are lots of things that community groups like Rotaries can do. One of them is that there are still households that have not been able to clean up after the earthquake. This is almost 2 months ago, right? So these are disabled elders, disabled folks who've never been able to go upstairs yet, folks who need help, folks who have trees down in their backyards after the storm, haven't been able to get to them. So there's cleanup, there's supplies, there's channeling donations to groups like Pay Forward Humboldt and Centro del Pueblo, who have been absolute amazing rock stars defying the laws of physics to get people the resources they need right now. My estimate, there's maybe, after sticking my heads in thousands of car windows, serving food, I would say maybe about 20% Spanish-speaking population, maybe about half of that was only Spanish. So Centro del Pueblo, the Lolita Community Resource Center, Paso a Paso, they've all been super critical in this response effort. So there are organizations you can send resources to, and you can join the COAD, and or fill out a resource survey about what kinds of resources any of your organizations or the Rotary could bring to the recovery effort, which is going to take about a year of rehab and rebuilding. And so we're starting a long-term recovery group. We're developing a disaster case management database, which many other regions have, unfortunately, these days, to identify what each household needs, and then get scrappy and try to get funding and resources from everywhere we can, and then channel them through this group to each household about what they need. So I think I'll wrap up there and just ask for questions.
Is FEMA doing anything?
Oh, thank you. That's a good reminder. So I don't know about any of you. I was told, yeah, you don't need to worry about earthquake insurance because if it's that big, FEMA's coming. Well, no, actually, unless you hit a $65 million damage threshold, they're not coming. And that's a lot of damage in a rural region. So I'm
Per incident, right?
per incident, yes.
Say that number again.
Yes. 65 million.
Per earthquake.
Maggie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wanted to mention that Rotary had stepped in a big way when this happened. I know right away, and has also put thousands of dollars out, was giving money to businesses. Some of you have volunteered, some of the other clubs tried to get them to volunteer to do some cleanup. I'm happy to report that tomorrow I will be going to the Rio Dell Terrace folks, who I've probably mentioned a little bit, the folks I've been helping, who have been out of their homes almost 2 months because the water heaters were not strapped in properly. They did not have severe damage from the earthquake, but because they weren't strapped in, they lost and were out in hotels. So a few of us, AJ and Lisa and I, are going down to unpack the final people. And one of them, it's her birthday tomorrow. So it's taken a long time, and there's so many more people. I can't even get into their homes. I just don't have the time, that have needs. So if you're interested still in going down, as we find people who need some of the cleanup she was talking about, it doesn't, it's so easy. It's so easy, and it's like because it's a small little community, just like FEMA won't come here, it's like our community can't forget Rio Dell. It's a small community, but they need they need help, and they're not begging. They're very resilient. They don't expect a lot. They're just expecting something, and so I think it's really important that we don't forget them and continue to deliver on that.
So they can come for us when
I've got a bunch of new Facebook friends, and when it happens, it's like, So anyway, I really appreciate those who have made donations through Rotary and have stepped up. It's been really, really great.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you brought up a really good point that maybe you could comment on. The communications systems went down.
Yeah.
I'm in a group called Site Assessment Program through the state where I get a call or like right after something happens to go, am I available to come to and start looking at houses, checking them out structurally? It took me 2 days. Our email, hardline, and our cells were out for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I got the message you were talking about the same day, but I had no idea. So is there a communications, if we don't have communications, how do we?
Yeah, that is probably one of the core questions we're working on next. I would say we have a communications, information, and outreach working group, but it wasn't really quite up to functionality yet. So actually Nick from Humboldt COAD is taking over that working group to start. It's not only the system for communication, it's the protocols for it, right? Because what we found, being in the Emergency Operations Center, is that of course, government has to move slow, does move slow. Sometimes it's so slow, you're like, I have information that the community needs. I don't want to jump the gun and not get it 100% right, but we need to get them some information. And so we were in that situation a lot, and we had no protocols for it. Now we're like, we need some protocols for that. So we're going to be developing that. And I would say, like, I was doing the same. I was driving around Eureka trying to find signals so that I could coordinate. And HAF said, oh yeah, so we've got our disaster system set up. We have our built-in generator. We have our internet. Come on down, work from here. So I think establishing more spaces like that where, if the earthquake's here, there's a space like that down south, vice versa, where, some coordination can happen, I think is one piece to that puzzle.
And I have US Cellular, and I never lost service. And I'm not a paid spokesperson. But, anyway.
Any other questions?
How do we contact COAD?
COAD, HumboldtCOAD.org is the website, and our contact information is info@HumboldtCOAD.org. As a network, we're right now working on becoming a nonprofit. I was a contractor last year for COAD. This has been pretty much voluntary work so far this year through these disasters, so it's in a bit of a transition state to come up with the next contractors, but I'm definitely kind of want to make sure I'm holding this recovery effort until it gets underway with the long-term recovery group. Great question, thank you.
Jen, we couldn't do it without you.
Likewise. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and thanks for all the work all of you do for your communities.
Do we have a raffle?
They weren't? Okay. All right. So we got 9959.
What home dog got?
9959? What?
What home dog got?
Oh, wait, did you say 9959?
9959.
Someday he'll work glasses.
Oh,
There you go.
all right, I want nothing in the way.
I was like, what are you doing on there?
Let's call it.
Alrighty. $5. There you go. And the next one, that was 559. So the other one is 9946. 9946.
Here we are.
And it is $5 as well.
This is part of the second.
Any other announcements? backpacks for kids. Sign-ups are bleak. Sign-ups are bleak. So please, next week, I think we need somebody to pick up on Thursday afternoon.
They're out of school now.
Oh, okay, sorry. The second. President's. Okay. Keep an eye out. John's sending the sign-ups out. Please participate. Please. Or Lisa does it, or I do it, or John does it, or Ian does it. Let's get more than these 4 people to do.
It's not hard.
It's Thursday afternoon. It fits in a Prius.
Yes.
It fits in a Fit. I don't know if it fits in a Crosstrek yet, but I will find out soon. Does it?
If it's in your car, it'll fit in the car.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in a Prius.
I'm sorry.
No, the Fit is amazing. All right, stay after. Help pack backpacks. Shoshana, do you have an announcement? March 10th. All right, thank you very much, guys. Have a great weekend. See you on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.